Woohoo! Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome. Jennifer and Merrill and Jennifer show. Welcome to this week's amazing a day in the life of. There we go. Day in the life of Fundability. So, Jennifer, you have an amazing situation to talk about now, and we have an announcement. We're going to keep announcing it in the show for 2 weeks. So, let's talk about that first, and then we can get into our thing. Jennifer and I have been working together like this on her Sirius XM show, all these different amazing podcasts together, her tribe for 8 years. We've never met each other. She's coming down. We're going to meet in Orlando, Florida at the FICO World 2022. And we're actually going to do this exact thing together in front of, you're going to see FICO banners behind us. It's going to be a blast. We're so excited because we've been doing this forever and never even met. So
in person. And it's funny because it makes a little bit of sense in the last 2 years because of the pandemic. But even before that, you and I, is so funny because the story, which we won't get into because we don't have enough time today, but it's just funny that we were always on, virtual because of the radio.
I'm so excited to meet you in person. So excited. But now the real news. What question do we have? You've been running into a lot of persons who are about to get married. What was that?
They are. So I have a couple friends who are young females I do really love mentoring young females who are kind of starting out in business. And I've had some of the most beautiful, I need to start recording these amazing testimonials of helping mentor these young ladies who are, again, coming into their own. And some of them have gone to college, some have not. And so it's interesting, the insecurities when they didn't go to college. And at the time when I was getting out, I was so determined to get through college because my mother had told me how stupid I was. And so I went through I went through an AA degree, a BA degree, and then a master's degree. But there's these other young ladies who are starting out and they're starting their businesses. So they're getting their LLCs. They're starting to establish their credit. And we've talked about it before of college students, but now they're becoming first-time home buyers. But then they wait, I found the man of my dreams. And so they're starting to get to be married. And of course, they're going to be moving. So again, these are two things we've talked about before: address and your name. What's in the name? And is it important to hyphenate the name, to change the name, to keep your name?
Yeah. So these are such good questions. All right. First of all, Fundability landmine, you guys, massive Fundability landmine. What she's asking, what you're asking, Jennifer, is so powerful and so pertinent to anybody who's looking to change their name. Young women who are getting married, folks who've been married before and then they took back their maiden name and now they're getting married again, or you're getting divorced. Do you take your maiden name? I mean, all these things fall in the same category, but let's talk about the soon-to-be newlyweds. All right, first of all, I am a proponent. Now, this is the philosophical letter. I'm a proponent that men and women entering relationships, especially long-term relationships, maintain their financial independence, and that two powerhouses can join forces where the dependency is on each other financially is as little as possible. So her account, his account, and then a joint account to take care of all your things. Keep your financial independence. Now, having said that, we have a tradition in especially in the United States, I was going to say in the West, but especially in the United States, to take the last name of the man. I have no problem you taking his last name in everything except your financial relationships with lenders. I would prefer, and I'm going to talk about fundability because here's the thing. Especially if you two are a power couple and you're go-getters and you have your empire miss and you have your empire mister, and you can conjoin forces for strategic alliances financially in funding, helping each other fund and doing joint ventures, then there is more opportunity for you as a powerhouse couple if you do not share the same name. There's what's called an arm's length relationship. Real estate, business, many licenses, businesses, tons of different things say that you cannot do business if you are if your names are conjoined, shared addresses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So where you don't have an arm's length relationship. So we want to be financially at arm's length wherever possible, where it makes sense.
Are you saying that it would also, for address, it would be great if you bought 2 houses next door to each other, so you had 2 different addresses?
Yeah, actually, not quite that severe unless you're renting one and picking up your mail. Then yes, buy a duplex. And
there
then
you go.
each of you have a different address. And then, but the further apart, by the way, gone are the days where you got more of a tax break filing joint tax returns. Right now, each individual gets the same amount, and you get the same amount filing joint tax returns. So talk to your CPAs, but for fundability purposes, the further you are apart financially, the better off you're going to be fundability wise, and likely the better off you're going to have in the power dynamic that is within your relationship. 2 strong, powerful people joining forces is way more powerful than
And let's talk about that. Why do lenders like seeing 2 different names, 2 different addresses, or even just 2 different names? Why are 2 different names so important?
So, all right, let's start. Very good. Very good. Great question. So let's start at the bottom. We'll work our way to that specific answer. So first of all, the name changing process can be a nightmare to change your driver's license, etc. Financial institutions want to have your driver's license, your social security card, and to be the same as the records they have on their files. Now, all of those records together are what get reported to the credit bureaus and are what gets scored by FICO and by lender software when you're looking for mortgages and when you're looking for loans and lines of credit and things like that to build your lives. So it is possible to change your name, but if you're going to hyphenate it, just know 2 of the 3 bureaus don't believe in hyphenations. So if you are a Michelle Williams Abercrombie, it's going to be Williams Abercrombie as one last name. And some creditors do not hyphenate on your personal records. So I recommend that on your marriage certificate, because no creditor is going to ever ask for a marriage certificate, on your marriage certificate, in your community, at your church, with your family, be Michelle Williams Abercrombie. Absolutely. To your institution, be Michelle Williams. Right. Because and make sure your government documents all bear that out, because you will have a much easier time getting fundable. Now, let's address your specific question, Jennifer. So that's the principle. Now, when you go fill out a mortgage, let's say you're first-time home buyers or you're buying your first property, right?
Right.
What ends up happening is there's the borrower and co-borrower. You both get credit for the improvement in your credit profile. You both get a mortgage on your credit profile. The issue is that they're going to count each of your income and credit score separately anyway. They don't care what your last name is. They don't care that you are Williams and he's Abercrombie. Does not matter to them. They may check a box that says married, but the bottom line for you is that they're going to see if each one of you can carry the mortgage by yourself. Mm-hmm. So whichever income, let's say he's going to school, you're working, or you're going to school, he's working, whoever's income is being used, that's the credit score that is going to be used. Interestingly enough, some people come in going, hey, I've got a great credit score, and he's got income.
Right.
That doesn't
Right.
mean
Yeah.
anything to them, because what? They don't use your credit score to approve you. They're going to use your income as part of the approval dynamics, and then they would use the relevant credit score, the credit score that corresponds with the income that can pay for it. That's what they're going to use to determine your rate, term, and how much to lend you, right? So your last name does not matter in any application that you do together. Now, here, I'm going to tell you, I've been doing this for 30 years. Actually, May 5th, 30 years. You're welcome. All right.
Wow.
30 years on May 5th. Yeah, Cinco de Mayo, we started Get Fundable movement. All right. Do not, under any circumstance, for any reason under the sun in this universe, do you get joint credit cards. Never, ever, 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 ever get joint credit cards. Miss, you get joint credit cards. Mister, you get joint credit cards. Do not do not be authorized users on each other credit cards, because first of all, now's when you got to go to the boot camp. The boot camp, you're going to learn all of this stuff. Go to getfundablejennifer.com. The boot camp should be required training for every couple getting married or moving in together, where you're going to co-mingle funds. You must go to the Get Fundable boot camp.
We should do. That's one of the things we should do is for couples that are about to get married, we should do an engagement webinar in the evening, because we should do. Here are the 3 things never do. Before,
because we are all in love. I was madly in love. There are 3 things that are likely a fact for many of us. The 3 Ds: death, divorce, and disability.
Again, those 3 Ds, especially when you're young, you just don't think those 3 Ds are ever going to happen to you.
Yep. And the thing is guess what? Your lenders, your credit card issuers, they're counting on the 3 Ds. They love it when something happens, because if you're joint, even if he dies, you're left with the debt, miss. If she dies and you're joint, you're left with the debt, mister. If you get divorced. Now, I'm going to tell you something right here. We have not go to the boot camp, getfundablejennifer.com. Go to the boot camp to learn the details of this. But here is what people don't know. If you both sign that, and I know you're in love. I know you guys have been living together for 10 years and you're just formalizing it with your friends. Totally get it. I'm saying that a judge's decree does not change the card holder agreement ever. A judge cannot change your contract with the card, with the credit card or the mortgage or any other credit instrument, which means that if you are joint on a credit card and you guys separate, you get divorced, and the judge assigns him X credit card and assigns you Y credit card, but you are joint on it. If he doesn't pay it, it ruins your credit because you promised to pay. I don't care, and neither does the credit card, neither does the credit bureaus, and neither does FICO care that the judge said he's responsible. Now, I am going to tell you a killer hint. Anybody who's watching who are considering divorce, the judge can't change. If you're on, before you get a divorce, split cards. Make sure that each of you take a card and you take the other one off as a user. But if for some reason you guys are in beginning proceedings and you can't now change assign cards to each other and get the other one off of the card as an owner, then you make sure that the judge puts in the divorce decree that the other person who fails their obligation has to pay for credit reparations to put you back and make you whole because they didn't follow the judge. The judge has power to do that. The judge does not have power to change the cardholder agreement. If you signed it, you owe it. Period. Now, I hate to talk about divorce when we're having a newlywed conversation, but you've got to plan for the 3Ds. I see it all the time. Bless your hearts. I love falling in love. I love being in love. And I will never be joint accounts with any beloved I ever have in my entire life. And my divorce was amicable because I knew what I was doing, and I'm passing this along to you for free. If you want the details, go to getfundablejennifer.com, get the damn boot camp, and you guys watch it together. I swear to Buddha, watch it together, because if you watch it together, you're going to have an amazing experience planning your credit lives forever. And I want you to stay, I want you to be together forever and happy while doing it.
Exactly.
So names, keep everything separate, and then conjoin your forces. Woo, boy, did I get on a tirade there.
I know. So it's interesting because, separate for financial, but again, I love what you said. Also, it's really important to realize that if you want to share his name, or you want to take his name on, hyphenate, or whatever you want to do for your social, not for your financial. So just think about it that way. Socially, it can be one thing.
Absolutely.
Financially, it's something different.
Your Instagram, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, hyphenate. Lender relationship and what's on your driver's license, keep it. My daughter, 33 years old, on her second live and flip. She is a boss.
Yay!
She is a boss, and she still bears her maiden name for financial reasons.
Good.
Otherwise, she is Sharon Chandler Fours, and she's a boss babe. So I take it from the people who know you guys, no joke. And yes, we do need to do an entire marriage series, preparing for marriage series, preparing
for marriage financially.
Yep.
I've thought about that. I've seen that in sometimes in churches, and yet I've looked at some of their courses, and I'm like, oh dear, you're missing so much out of this. And you're also, and some of it goes back to, and we could even do another series on myth busting as well, because some of the advice that they're getting is, again, the exact wrong advice. And
you do not be an authorized user on each other's cards, you guys. It doesn't buy you anything, and it actually gets in the way. It actually harms your profile if you're trying to be bosses in your market, whether you're in real estate, you're entrepreneurs building businesses together or separate. Think of it this way. We can't even go to it. I was going to say you can get more money if you have separate names. We can't go there.
Can't go there. We can continue this next week, though. Yeah. Let's continue it next week, and we'll start more advice for the honeymoon or the soon-to-be marriage.
We need to address how to finance a honeymoon the best to actually create the highest yield on your credit profile.
Okay. Wow. So that's next week. Next week is the honeymoon. How do we prepare for your finances, including your honeymoon?
I love it. Okay, yay! Brilliant. Okay, I dig it. You guys, get fundablejennifer.com. It's in the comments. Go there. Do it together. Do the boot camp together, because it's going to change your lives and give you so many fun tools. Jennifer, we've been doing this for 8 years, and it never even gets rusty. So I love it.
Exactly. Always fun. And I can't wait. We'll be in person in 2 weeks.
So much fun. Okay. Thank you. And we'll see you.